yesterday I finished all of the cutting and laying out of my pattern, and I think I got this right so far. Then I came across the instructions. Like, who writes this stuff? Seriously. They work for NASA and they're terrible artists. Oh my gosh. I think I could do better if I used my feet. They're so confusing. So anyway, I am going to do one little step at a time, and I'll be honest with you, I'm afraid to take the paper and pins off my pattern. But it says the first thing that we do is we're going to start with the sleeves, and we're going to start pinning the our little eyelet and bias tape. It's amazing how I've learned all these terms from my book and from my wonderful friend who came and helped me. She spent a whole day trying to teach me how to sew. So I'm going to show her that I was actually listening. So anyway, I am going to be brave. I'm going to take these pins and paper off this first sleeve cutout, and we are going to start working on this and this. Wish me luck. So we're going to be taking care of both of our sleeves. We're just going to do one at a time and see if we can figure this out. I don't know. I'm very hopeful. I've been really reading. After I cut all these out, I spent the whole evening last night reading my book and trying to see if I could make sense of these directions today. So I've read them, reread them, and read them again, and still some of them don't make sense, but I'm hoping if I lay everything out, it'll make more sense. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Okay, so I don't want to confuse anything I've done, so I'm going to take this first one, and all I'm going to do is just fold this up. I want to kind of set it aside in case I need to lay it back on top of my fabric. But there you go, there's our first one. I cut my little notches out of the edges there. I don't know if you can see those, but I tried to think of everything I needed to do. But anyway, what we're gonna do is start with this edge, and it says that we are going to take, this is our directions. It says that we're gonna put right sides together, okay? So I'm going to take my eyelet, we're going to put the right sides together. I'm going to measure out a piece of this first. And I think it'd be easier if I just cut it rather than, you know, fiddling with this. All right, so I'm going to cut it right here. All right, so we're going to put right sides together. So I guess this is the right side of the eyelet, I hope. And we're going to, let's see what it says. Pin ruffling trim to lower edge of sleeve. Okay. With right sides together, pin ruffling trim to lower edge of sleeve, placing bound edge over seam line. Oh, okay, so it's gonna go this way. I guess that's the right side, I don't know. And having ends even with raw edges based in place. I gotta look up and see what based means. What is based? Baste. I know how to baste a turkey. Where's my book? Okay, so I guess what basting means is it's just kind of a temporary light stitch. Okay, no problem. So we're going to go ahead and put our little eyelet. We're going to pin it just like it says. Okay, I've got it pinned, and I'm going to put a basting stitch on it. And then we'll go to the next step. Let me go get my sewing machine and we'll start on this first one. Okay, I got both of these done. And They look really good. They look just like the picture. So I'm really happy so far. I got one stitch done properly. Okay, let me get this bias tape. Okay, and then it says the next thing we're gonna do, where's my instructions? Oh, goodness, it's so hard to keep track of all this stuff. All right. It says the next thing that we're gonna do is open one folded edge of bias tape, press lightly. So I guess I need to get my iron out, and I'm gonna press some of this bias tape with one side open. Good morning, everybody. I am on my way back to Joann's Fabrics. Still working on this nightgown. I actually had to take a couple days off from working on it because I was so stressed out from the chaos from that, trying to figure out that pattern, that by the time I was done with the end of the day, I actually had to rip everything out. It was beyond frustrating. So today's actually Wednesday. That was Sunday that I was working on it, and I thought I'm just going to throw the whole thing away. And I thought, no, just leave it. You got the cutting part of it done. Just hang in there, take some time, do what Steve Jobs said. If it takes 15 minutes, more than 15 minutes, take a walk. I took a long 3-day walk. So anyway, I kind of looked through all of my material list, and I found that I had bought the wrong type of bias tape. I guess I got a double-sided bias tape, and I needed a single something bias tape. So I'm hoping that that was the problem. I don't know. I had a lot of trouble getting the elastic through the wrist. So I pulled the whole thing out. I'm heading to Joann's. I'm going to get the correct bias tape. And I'm going to look at some material for some Halloween covers. I thought, you know, I could do aprons and pillows, and I may just make some new covers for my pillows for Halloween or for fall. So anyway, I'm off. I'll get back to you as soon as I know what's going on and see if I can do any better at this sewing. Well, I'm back from the fabric store, and I picked up, I hope, the right bias tape. I checked and made sure it was all exactly what they said I needed. So I'm going to give this another try. I'm probably going to have to fast forward it because I'm not the fastest at this, and I'm sure you don't want me to sit and watch me just kind of poke around at everything. So let me get started trying to put this bias tape on and see if I can get these sleeves sewn. Well, I hope this is right. I bought the new bias tape and it looks exactly like the old bias tape. So I don't know, I can't figure any of this out. All right, so it says to sew along the edge here, which is what I'm gonna do. Okay, it says to trim the bias tape.